We're currently at Chick-fil-A in Houston. Grabbing breakfast before we head to Houston. How excited are you?
I'm excited and scared.
Well, I'm scared. I'm gonna be honest. I'm scared of the work part of it.
Our first stop will be Washington, D.C. and World Pride. And I've just never been to anything like it. I've never been to a Pride Festival this big. And obviously this happening on the backdrop of what's happening in the US. I think it's going to be an interesting experience. And I think I want to see how that is addressed throughout the festival. Especially since it's happening in Washington. Literally, we're in the belly of the beast, child.
I'm excited. And I think this trip is going to be what, in some ways, assures us to know if this content creation is really what we can do. Because it's like, this is sort of put on speed dial. Like, this is your job. Creating the vlog, creating the short form, doing brand campaigns out there. This is your job. What does that look like when we work together and lock into something like this? And the thing is, I'm not putting any pressure on ourselves in this, like, the outcome of this. We always do good vlogs, and I feel like when we put that pressure, that's when it flops. I just want to have a great time and meet amazing people. Yeah.
Everything that we do, I mean, what we're doing right now, we're storytelling. That's why I think media is very important.
I feel especially free at Pride.
It's a party for the people that just want to celebrate and just escape.
Pride is joy.
Yeah.
We're celebrating joy. We're celebrating resilience. We're celebrating acceptance. We're celebrating community.
Hey, for those who may not know us, I'm T.
And I'm Drew, and welcome to the very first episode of Pride Around the World. We are so excited to take you through this docu-series where we'll be exploring what queer joy, queer resilience, and queer community means to folks across the world through our lens as a married couple.
That's right. Over the next 18 months, we're going to be traveling to 6 continents to celebrate the biggest Pride, but also discover the grassroots, on-the-ground representation of Pride to get an understanding what does Pride look like on a global scale.
But before we get into that, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support. It literally means the world to us, like very literally. With this project, we're going to be around the world, so we need your support. And if you want to follow the journey in real time, please follow us on our TikTok, on our Instagram, or if you want the real unfiltered cut of Pride Around the World, please check out our Snapchat.
With all that out of the way, let's talk about our first Pride experience, DC Black Pride. That's right, we flew to the capital of USA to experience Black Pride on Memorial Day weekend, which is a normal thing here. Now, what is DC Black Pride and why is it important to understand the legacy behind it?
So for those of you who don't know, DC Black Pride was actually founded in 1991, the year that I was born. DC Black Pride was founded by Wellmore Cook and Theodore Kirkland and Ernest Hopkins. The very first event was held at Banneker Field in DC and focused on HIV/AIDS, education, outreach, and celebration. Since then, it's grown into a cornerstone of the Black LGBTQ+ calendar, welcoming over 900,000 attendees over the years. Today, DC Black Pride is run by the Center for Black Equity and its current president and CEO, Kenya Hutton. It's not just a party, it is a celebration, it is health advocacy, it's community building, it's cultural expression. It's all of these incredible things that we got to experience during our time here in Washington, DC. In this episode, we're going to take you through our experiences of DC Black Pride, from the people we met, the organizations we connected with, the events we went to, the day parties, the food, everything's going to be included in this episode, so stay tuned.
Before jumping into the meat of this vlog, which I know we're all dying to get into, Pride Around the World, this was no easy feat. I'm not sure if we thought it was just going to be like, pick up a laptop, book your tickets, and ooh, you're away. It's nothing like that. From finding affordable flights, accommodation, especially starting in a city like Washington, where the cost of living is higher than national average, this was no joke.
And honestly, DC almost did make the cut. Like, it was a toss-up between NYC and DC. And as soon as we found out that DC Black Pride and World Pride were happening within 2 weeks of one another, it was a clear, easy win for DC, because you know we love a good 2-for-1. We just arrived in Washington, D.C. from Houston. The time is just past 4, and we're about to head to our Airbnb.
We're running late for the first event. I don't know why we're trying to act like we're not stressed. We're running late for the first event, which is the opening ceremony. I don't know
Which starts at 5?
Oh, it starts at 5?
Let me just check.
Andrew's meant to be like the diary coordinator for this trip, and I'm the logistics guy, but it's giving very much. Both are me. Okay, Washington is actually kind of cute. Because I didn't expect to see a lot of green in terms of the grass and stuff. I thought it would be like just buildings, like, you know, concrete jungle, like.
No, not at all. Haven't you seen in movies?
Maybe this is why they're saying that we should move to Washington. But yeah, what time is the first event?
So my diary's acting up.
Okay.
I've got some malfunctions because here it's saying that it starts at
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock and ends at 3. I don't think my diary's configured to the right time zone, guys.
Yeah, let's just...
We're late. So what were our first impressions of DC? What would you say?
I think first impressions of DC is the fact that it's very much, I'm going to almost say like a London aesthetic. High-rise buildings, very clean roads. And I think what I was surprised by was the lot of green.
Yeah, like even down to the weather, it reminded me of London. Like there were sporadic showers every now and then. It was overcast at times, but it also kind of fulfilled a lot of the ideas that I had around what I thought Washington would be like.
Yeah, but we haven't seen the White House yet, and we haven't seen, you know, the big monuments. Hopefully when we do, that sort of takes us out of this whole feeling like we're in London. But right now, it's giving very much Canary Wharf, like very much London right now. Experiencing both DC Black Pride and World Pride in DC meant that we had to stay here for over 2.5 weeks. Flying in from Houston, we had to use Southwest Airlines, which was the ghetto.
They call it a flying bus for a reason. It is a flying bus.
But for £400, we cannot complain, to be honest. Now, when we got to DC, what made us quite relaxed and sort of zen was this beautiful one-bed apartment we found at Boise Point, thanks to Airbnb. ChatGPT was so helpful in finding the right locations. And honestly, for £2,500, this is a steal. Okay, so we've just got into our Washington apartment where we're going to be staying for the next couple of weeks. Let's give you a tour because this is a hidden gem. It only opened about a month ago, so we don't know what we're in for. And I'm not sure how you get in because we just checked in, so that's not a great start. So let's give you a tour. First, we have what looks like a reception room for guests to wait until when they're attended to and given access into the building. I love how modern the whole space is. Like even the smell, but you cannot smell it, but even the smell is quite new. And this is the lobby area where they checked us in over here. Let's go to the gym and the communal area. So when you get through the reception area, there is a shared lobby, which is almost like a co-working space in the building. And I think the decor in here is so soothing, because one thing you always notice in new builds is like they don't put enough greenery inside the buildings, and the high plants and the high ceilings makes you almost feel more awake in here. It's almost like a good way to meet your guests before you take them up into your room, to be fair. This is our favorite part because, you know, we love a good gym session. And you're gonna get our honest reaction because we haven't seen the gym. This is the first time we gonna see it. Online, it looks like a beast of a gym.
Really? You've only seen it?
Yeah. But, oh wow. I already see the Stairmaster and I'm already like, what? Yes. Woo. Baby. This is a full ass gym. Hi. I thought it was gonna be like a hotel gym where you have like half a room.
Yeah, this is a gym.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no slacking here.
Oh, we're about to get fit. So they've got the squat racks, they've got the cables. Have they got Smith machines?
They've got everything on gym pack.
And more. Gagged. I have no words because this is not what I was expecting. And then there's a separate room, which almost looks like a quiet room. And the crazy thing is we did not bring much gym clothes because we thought that, oh, it's gonna be like 1 or 2 workouts here and there, but this is fully stacked. So this is the studio for like, I guess, yoga, stretching, and then the lighting, the mirror. Placemaker, taking it. Absolutely taking it. Ooh. Something that I love about this place is the security. The fact that it's all on an app for you to be able to unlock and access the elevators. So you don't just go to, you don't just let random people get into your space. It's all on the phone. And if you ain't got the access code, you're not getting in, love. Let's show you the room where we are staying for the next 2.5 weeks. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am happy with this space because we've been in hotels for like, how many days has it been now?
For about a week or so.
Oh?
An apple.
For about a week, yeah. And we get an apartment, which we've missed because we've been eating so bad. But let's start off with the bathroom. Right as you enter the door, there's a shower and it's quite spacious. I'm gonna be very honest with you. It's quite spacious, similar to the sizes we had in some of the hotels. We give this a close. And this is the living room space. Let me find the light switch, getting used to the space. Oh, so it's giving more ambience light than actual light. Here's the state-of-the-art kitchen. All equipped, the coffee maker, pots and pans, everything in the cupboard, like cutleries, knives. The fridge is empty, but we're gonna take you guys grocery shopping. Don't worry about that. But it's a very spacious fridge. I think that's one thing I love about the US. They love everything big. And this is where the magic happens. We're gonna be sleeping. We're gonna be sleeping.
I'm sleeping. Tristan's gonna be awake till early hours of the morning editing videos. But y'all.
Yeah, I have no comment. But yeah, we're staying here for 2.5 weeks. So, you know I am glad when there is a washer and a dryer because, girl, we got laundry to do. So, that was the apartment tour of the whole building tour. How do you feel about this space for the next few days?
I love it. It feels like the evolved version of our apartment, you know, has just followed us to the US and been like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that y'all feel at home. That's what it's giving.
And it's giving older sister. No, is it older or young? I don't even know.
Older sister, what, of our apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's eating her up, but you know, it feels like home.
It feels like home. Let's get ready. We have the first event, the opening ceremony of Black Pride 2025 USA. Let's get it. Is it World Black Pride?
DC Black Pride.
It's not World Black Pride.
No. Well, it's part. No, not yet.
After we settled into our Airbnb, it was time for us to head to the first event, which was the DC Black Pride opening reception at Capitol Hilton.
Where am I supposed to go? Should we go up here?
Let's go on.
Once we arrived, honestly, they transformed the place into a community hub. There were vendor stalls, performances, HIV testing booths, sexual wellness stands, community organizations. LGBTQ plus owned businesses. It was really giving everything everywhere all at once.
We are currently on the first day of DC Black Pride, and we found a sexual health test center, but also we are gonna fill out this form to sign up for DoxyPep. We found this out, I think, on holiday yesterday, what it was. It is an antibiotic that helps protect against STIs, which you should take as post-exposure.
Yeah.
And we are gonna get some, because why not? Like, stay protected. I think this has been fab so far.
Yeah, I love the focus on like charities. You see a bunch of charities and organizations having their stands in and around the place. I love the focus on sexual health and well-being, and also just like annihilating some of the shame around sex. Like I saw this sign saying sex is pride, and yeah, we should be proud of sex whilst doing it safely.
Exactly.
And I think that's really, really important. So yeah, we're gonna fill it in. We're gonna get some DoxyPep. And they're also providing PrEP here, and as well as vaccinations against monkeypox. Get yourselves protected.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I am joined with
Mike Mullins Whitaker, pronouns he, him, his. People know me as Mike the Creator. Glad to be here today. So first of all, I stand on the shoulders of giants. It wouldn't be possible for me to do this work if I didn't come from a source, a stream. So I don't even want to take responsibility for the overall experience of Black Pride, because Pride would not have even happened if it wasn't for Black trans women doing the work. And we're very fortunate to be in DC because we have all eyes on us because of the administration, right? But also DC was the first Black Pride, and now we have over 66 Black Prides around the world. And we're connected, right? We're connected and we're able to share resources and show up. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to, you know, get the torch, right? But also at the same time, I'm still learning. I'm still understanding why DC works the way that it does and why it doesn't work in the ways that we want it to.
Hi guys, I'm here with
Strawberry. So my pronouns is whatever they are to you, Sal. And I'm joining you from Washington, D.C. as a Washingtonian myself. I've been on a committee with DC Black Pride, Capital Pride, and now I'm working with World Pride for the past 17 years.
And how have things changed within that time?
The involvement, the volunteering, the engagement, the allyship, just everything, the community in general has changed. It has done nothing but grown. So it's been beautiful. It's been wonderful to experience, even with, you know, the new administration, you know, taking all the funds that they took, but we were still able to put on a good Pride, still make sure people had fun. And we have a lot of people that did a lot of things for us pro bono because they are true allies and true community.
One of the highlights for me especially was getting to see T.S. Madison in the flesh and hearing her speak. Like, she is so damn funny.
Can you teach me how to teach my hearing impaired sex partner? Can you teach me to tell them, I want you to open your mouth and take this long and me over and over and over and over and over and over.
For those of you who don't know, T.S. Madison is a legend, a media mogul and a trans activist, and also the first Black trans woman to executive produce and star in her own reality TV show.
I asked God to deliver me from so many different things, and I did not know that He was going to deliver me in front of so many different people to help bring people out of the situations that they are in. I'm standing before you right now as an ex-seller, to a producer, an entrepreneur, a television star, and a multi-millionaire bitch. Can I get an amen?
Washington, D.C. awarded T.S. Madison with her own very special day to honor all of her contributions to the community. And you could just really just feel the love in the room. Like, you could really tell that the community really love and appreciate her. And just for those of you who don't know, that date is 23rd of May. So from here on out, 23rd of May is T.S. Madison Day, baby. Yeah.
Get to know.
So we're about to head to DC Trans Pride. It is day 2 still, even though it feels like day 1 because it's the first full day. We're excited to just meet some people from the community and also just understand more about the reality of what trans people's experiences are, especially in the current political environment that we're in. I think we're excited to just speak to people, understand their experiences, have fun, and yeah.
I like the part that we're going for the education first and then meeting other people just to celebrate Pride weekend. So I'm looking forward to the cookout too. I don't think I've ever been to one. So no expectations, but just hopefully it's all good vibes. Honestly, we thought quitting our 9-to-5s to become full-time creators would make our life easier, but we were wrong. Now, not only was our scheduling bad for DC Black Pride, we missed out on the Black Trans panel.
So we went to the wrong place. We were meant to pull up at DC Black Trans Pride, and instead we pulled up the DC LGBTQ plus Community Center. So it wasn't a complete waste of time. It was actually very valuable.
It was never a waste of time because I always go with the impression that God takes you to the place you need to be at the right time. Because we are currently here and we've been able to network and meet the people that manage and sort of created DC Black Pride, which has given us amazing access when it comes to attending events, media passes, probably even better interviews than what we normally get. But World Pride that's taking place in DC, we have not had one contact from them.
Not one contact. It's been so difficult to get in touch with them. So luckily, we're able to get a contact just from this chance meet here.
And it seems like kind of person that even if we don't get a response from that person, I would say, hey, we're struggling to get a response from he'll provide somebody else. When God sends you somewhere, go to that place.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Oh, yeah. That's the live version.
I think that was definitely the hardest blow.
Yeah.
We missed DC Black Trans Pride at Capitol Hilton. And that was just down to a number of things. But our 3 biggest issues were, number 1, timing. We all know about CP time, child. But CP time was not always relevant for DC Black Pride.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that made it slightly more difficult is that the timings for the events weren't always featured on the website. So it was difficult to plan around that at times. Number 2 was poor planning on our behalf. When we left the house, I think it was really important for us to calculate the distances to the different events so that we could figure out what the most efficient route was and the most efficient distance was. We didn't always do that. And number 3 was price. Obviously, you travel far, you pay the price for traveling far. Ubers were crazy expensive here. They don't always come at the most efficient time as well.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Ubers for 10, 15 minutes at a time. And also the cost of tickets. We were spending upwards of $60, even $100 on some of these events. And at times, there are 3 events a day. So you do the math. Actually, we will. I think I'm going to put up the price that we paid for event tickets right here and also the price that we paid for Uber right here, just so you get an idea of how expensive DC Black Pride can be.
The stress weighed on us and it stopped us communicating. Everything was falling apart. Essentially, we were here for Pride, missing out on events, not necessarily having fun because everything was expensive, and it just kind of made us shut down.
And to make things worse, we didn't even have any content to show for it, which was the main reason we were here. So I made a call. I decided, let's inject some fun. And we did just that. I reached out to one of my US contacts on Instagram, and he suggested that we check out this event called Dres Cookout, which is an annual cookout that happens at DC Black Pride. It also has a bring your own booze policy. We don't drink beers. So I was like, okay, cool, we're down. At least that will lessen the cost a little bit.
What we were not aware of, the surprise of all of this is that when you get to the venue, for Dres Cookout, you have to hand over your bottle of booze to them and you can drink from what everybody has brought. We bought a bottle of Casamigos, which was over $75 to play dapping up tens and giving people shots. We're now about to hand over a $75 bottle of Casamigos to the table. So not only did we spend that money, we had to take an Uber, go pick up a cheaper version of alcohol, and then make our way to the party, which had extremely long queues to get into. Wait, get into the back of somebody's back garden. It was not just anywhere, it was the back of somebody's back garden.
We finally make it to the venue. It is packed. There are people spilling out into the streets. It is a backyard. Chosa was already warning me we should book tickets to this event. So I was feeling like I'd been duped. But I take a look around and I'm like, hang on a sec. All of these people are fine.
Pretty face car on 10. Body right, got her looking. My type, total spin that thing. I like what I like. 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 I like what I like.
Now, despite the chaos at Dres Cookout, we actually ended up having a really, really great time until the cops came and just shut the whole thing down. Now let's keep it real. There's no pride without sex and desirability. That's just facts. Coming off the back of our friend's wedding in Shreveport, we were feeling that southern hospitality in our waistlines. So by the time we arrived in Washington, D.C., we knew we had to tighten up. Thankfully, our apartment had a gym, which was pretty fab. Now, one event at DC Black Pride that we knew we could not miss was Deviant. Now, for those of you who don't know, Deviant is a sex-positive space that encourages black kink. It's essentially a black queer circuit party.
And on that same night, we went to an event called Dick Appointment.
What did he say?
Now, it's not what you're thinking. It's a space that is curated to celebrate black and brown, trans, queer people to feel free, come be their most authentic self, shake ass, and have the best time ever. Out of respect for people's privacy, we decided not to film at either of the events because understanding that people were just there to be free and be their most authentic self, we wouldn't want to showcase what that looked like. But just know it was a fab night. Now, for you, what was your experience between the two? And if you had to recommend one, which one would you pick, would you say?
Okay, so both Dick Appointment and Deviant were going bar for bar on the same night. We decided to go to Dick Appointment first, almost acting, because we knew that we would be able to meet some friends there. We knew we'd have fab music. I really loved the alternative music, the trap music, the very New York sounds that Dick Appointment brings. I love the crowd. It's very inclusive. It's very queer. The representation of different genders, different sexualities, it really did feel like LGBTQ plus in every sense of the word. Also, the crowd is quite young and cool, which I really, really enjoy as well.
Very true.
Deviant has a very masculine energy about it. It definitely overemphasizes the G in LGBTQ plus. It's not really a queer space, it's a very masculine space. Obviously, most guys are ripped or in shape, clearly desirability and the traditional ideas of desirability are very much centered within that space. It doesn't feel as inclusive. It does feel more of an alpha kind of space.
Yeah.
So Deviant for me, although it's a sex positive space, I think more work needs to be done so that folks respect other people's boundaries. I was speaking to a few friends there who felt as though they had been groped or grabbed in ways that wasn't really appropriate or wasn't as consenting.
Yeah.
Even I had an instance where a guy, you know when you see a guy and then they grab you on the small of their bag. Tell me why this man's hand started to go slide down my drawers. I had to grab his hand and pull it off and be like, no, that's not art.
The one thing I question about pride is I don't like that we use pride to each other, you know what I'm saying? We can still have communications outside of and does not lead to a relationship. But communication is good, consent is good, and learning what to do and what not to do and how to do it is very good.
Just because we're in a sex positive space doesn't mean that consent isn't still important.
Exactly.
So I think that more work needs to be done there. But until that is done, I think we need to remain alert. Stay with your friends. Make sure you're with people that make you feel safe. And also just beware of how you're feeling, make sure that you're protecting your drinks, covering your drinks. Just make sure that you are putting yourself in a position where you feel safe and when you're with people who make you feel safe too.
Yeah. I think that I would give it to Deviant, because like Deviant was a space where I'd ever been where I saw like a black circus scene. Just bodies just grinding on each other, like black male bodies, men, just grinding on each other, feeling free. Like, I love that. But then I think that what I can never get over, Dick Appointment being like one of the best events I experienced, is how the music is the core to what you're coming for. It's like the music, the dance, the liberation you see when people are dancing. It's like they dance like nobody's watching. Whereas in Deviant, it's like you're dancing so that you know people are watching and want to come up to you for that attention and desirability. Whereas Dick Appointment is like you're here to get lost in the music. I think either event works depending on what you're looking for, but yeah, overall a good experience.
Yeah, we definitely had fun at both events. So.
Yeah.
What I loved most about DC Black Pride was the focus on sexual health. Like from the jump, as soon as we arrived at the opening reception, there were booths providing testing, prep, health professionals also were giving advice and really providing useful information for the community.
So I'm Jason Beverly. I am a family nurse practitioner and I work with the DC Department of Health in the HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, STD, and TB administration that we call HOSTA. The division that I work in is called the Division of STD and TB Control, and a big part of what we do is run a free clinic for sexual health and tuberculosis in the district. And we also come out to community events like this to really meet people where they're at and provide sexual health related services at events like this. Today we're giving a very focused group of services. We're doing DoxyPep, we're doing Mpox vaccine, and we're doing rapid HIV testing. So DoxyPep is a prevention tool for STIs other than HIV. Basically, you take 200 milligrams of doxycycline after condomless sex to help prevent syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea. It's very effective, especially in men who have sex with men, and it's very well tolerated, and you only have to take it when you need it. So we feel like having it in an event like this, where people might meet other people for sexual contact, that they can have a couple of doses of DoxyPep that's provided by our prescribers. So these are physicians or nurse practitioners, and they can have a dose of DoxyPep each of the 3 days if they need it. HIV testing, we all know what that is. We have a 1-minute blood-based test that's very accurate. It's an antibody test, help people know their status. And then Mpox vaccine, we used to call that monkeypox. We do see some cases still of Mpox, and so this vaccine can help prevent people from either getting infected or prevent progression to severe illness if they do get infected. I think their misconceptions still abound, right?
Yeah.
That only people who have a lot of sexual partners need PrEP or need DoxyPep, or people that don't care enough about themselves to use condoms need PrEP or DoxyPep. All of that is just hogwash. Like, we need to move past that. We are in a sex-positive environment. In DC Department of Health, we are a sex-positive public health department, and we want to meet people where they're at so that the type of sex that they want to have, we can help them do it in the safest way possible, and we're not into shaming people for why they need PrEP or DoxyPep.
And on one final note, sex is not just about having fun, it's also about protecting yourself and protecting each other. If you need support or resources, please check out the links in our description for more information.
Now, remember when we said we spent too much money on tickets? There was a cheat code which we missed out on. There was something called a Daryl Wilson pass. Guys, this was one of the issues I had with the Black Pride Festival. Unless you stayed on the Capitol Hilton or were really immersed in that sort of collective booking, you missed out on some of this important information. A Daryl Wilson pass gave people access to multiple events, and it was only for like $100, whereas we were spending $75 just to get into one event. Now, who's Daryl Wilson? He is a legend here in DC, or just in the Black LGBTQ plus space, for throwing and curating some of the best events and spaces. Been running for quite a while now.
Yeah, for quite a while. And one of the first events that we got to experience under Daryl Wilson was at the Bullpen. Now, when we first arrived, this place low-key reminded me of Box Park in London. If you know, you know. It was a huge open-air space where you had drinks. I think there was food. There were stalls around the side. There was a stage. There were performances.
You must regret the day that you left me.
it was teeming with people. Like, it was fab. And I think for me, one of the most poignant moments from the whole of DC Black Pride was this party. They were just playing all of these classic songs, from Flex to Boots on the Ground to Jerusalem, and all of these songs that have these iconic dances that everyone knows and loves. And there was a point where just everyone was in front of the stage doing these dances in sync with one another. And there was just this tremendous feeling of freedom and safety.
And just seeing it like happening like live in front of me, I was like, this is what it's about. Like, just being around Black, gay, queer people and just being in rhythm, being at one. And you could see the joy. Like, you could genuinely just feel the joy and the energy. And I was like, this is a reality that I've always thought about but never saw it really happening. But seeing it live in front of me, I had goosebumps, I had chills. It was such an experience.
And it was really a testament to the way that music and culture connects us as Black people. After days of bus, club, after days of bus, club, another club, we were tired, exhausted even, particularly him. But we had one last event to wrap up this whole Memorial Day weekend, especially at DC Black Pride. And what this event taught us was actually that, you know, the best things in life are sometimes free.
Honestly, Pride in the Park was such an experience. It was started by community and run by volunteers. Pride in the Park is family orientated. It's an open air celebration that brings together queer life and queer joy. It felt like being in the presence of like-minded people who were there just to feel connected.
I'm joined with
Lolita, Leopard. I'm she, her.
Chris. Jeremy. Uche, Valentine. My pronouns are he, him, his, or Uche.
Denzel.
Jeff.
Bonnie Lynn.
the beautiful Bonnie Lynn. And what do you do? I mean, I already know what you've done, but yes, what do you do?
I'm an entertainer, performer, all-around artist, Jane of all trades. I do it all.
So if your ex went to therapy and they had to unpack a toxic trait about you, what would it be?
That I can be sometimes selfish and self-centered.
Oh, accountability.
Right.
Mine is always accountability. I'm a know-it-all. Sometimes I talk too much. I've always been on that. I talk a little. Yes, I talk too much.
And with me, I internalize things.
I don't cook and clean sometimes.
Would you say that Pride is a party, a protest, or a performance?
All of the above.
All three.
Pride started as a protest.
It is a protest in a sense to the people that are against people being comfortable with who they are.
The reason why it's a protest is because we're all coming together from all walks of life to stand together and band together. And not only are we banding together, we're also partying at the same time.
It's a party for the people that just want to celebrate and just kind of escape.
But also the party part of it is very important, especially the Black gay pride, because we don't have that space, right? So I would say for me, it's a mixture of both. Protest, but also party. Because pride is joy. We're celebrating joy. We're celebrating resilience. We're celebrating acceptance. We're celebrating community.
The performance part is showing up unapologetically, getting into character, and being that beacon of inspiration for the next generation under you.
And we also have a bunch of performers that come out and showcase their talents for the world to see. And we're just living true and authentically us. So that's why I say it's a, and you forgot the last P, which is for a purpose, you know?
Purpose, performance, party, protest.
Yes.
Okay, incredible.
We saw amazing performances from artists like Avery Wilson and the band. Also, we heard directly from the members of the community where we talked to them about relationships and also find out why do y'all support us, because this was important. And we met so many beautiful couples because one thing we love seeing is Black love, like inject that inside me every day of the week.
May 15th, this year made 14 years together. We've been married for 7.
Funny story, we met last year at this time in DC Pride.
Oh,
We met at DC Pride last year. Yes.
As media and content creators ourselves, we understand the importance of representation in media. That is why we took time to attend the Black Queer Film Festival, where we saw powerful works from Rafiki, but also listening to Rashid, who is a Black author within the queer community. He wrote the book called Lazarus.
My name is Rashid Darden. I'm a novelist. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. My pronouns are he, him, his.
And is this your first DC Black Pride or?
No, I cannot count how many I've been to, but I've been attending since the year 2000 off and on. And as a novelist since the year 2005.
Wow, okay. What do you think is your role as an author in, I guess, bridging the gap between different generations, especially within the Black queer space?
Well, I think authors need to tell the truth, tell the stories, to entertain, and we have responsibility, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, to write things as they are, as they were, and as we hope them to be. So a lot of my novels deal with youth culture and young adults and whatnot, and their stories deserve to be observed and told and shared. And I hope that I'm doing justice to their stories and doing justice to my own stories as a middle-aged man now, who was a young man in Pride, and now I have wisdom and age to impart upon others. So I think that a lot of people are here for those reasons.
Finally, what is your hope for DC Black Pride, also more broadly for Black queer authors?
So my hopes for Black queer authors is that we, despite the political climate that we currently live in, that we will be unafraid to write the books that might be burned by the government someday. That because it seems as though we're heading toward that, but it's our responsibility to keep telling the stories. My hope for Black Pride, long may it reign, is that it is always here, no matter how old I get or how young the younger generation gets, that it will be a safe place for celebration, not just parties. There's workshops, there's financial planning, there's health, there's HIV prevention. I really hope that the core of what makes DC Black Pride a great event, the people and the generosity of the volunteers, I hope that goes on forever.
I love that.
I brought Lazarus to share with you because Lazarus is my first novel. It's the story of an African-American young man in college that pledges a fraternity and tries to keep his boyfriend secret from the members of the chapter on his campus. And without DC Black Pride, I would not be the author that I am today because of the safe space that it creates for fellow authors and readers. My most recent novel is Yours in the Bond. And it is the story of a worshiping community in DC that worships in the Quaker tradition, but they are all Black, and they are a peculiar sets of people with real world problems that descend from the transatlantic slave trade, the Great Migration, and on down. So you can get these books anywhere, including in the UK.
Yeah, definitely check out Rashid's work, as well as Rafiki, the film, which is set in Kenya. I think especially right now where LGBTQ plus rights are under attack globally, representation isn't just a necessity, it is political and it's also survival.
Yeah.
And this definitely came through when we attended the Black Queer Film Festival, but also in speaking to other media and content creators, as well as those who create works that center Black queer stories.
Hi, my name is Joshua X. Miller from Chicago. My pronouns are he, they, and I work for an arts wellness organization in Chicago named Black Alphabet. The first thing that I'll say is that when we are in times where we feel hopeless, we lean on arts. You know, we lean on expressing ourselves through artistic ways because as Black queer folks, we are art. Everything that we do is art. I think it's very important because a lot of the times we don't get to see ourselves. But when you're going through history and you're learning about the Harlem Renaissance, or you're learning about the history of African tribes that actually embraced queer people into the actual traditions, you begin to feel a sense of pride and that you feel like you have a place. So that's why I think media is very important, and especially storytelling, because everything that we do, I mean, what we're doing right now, we're storytelling. Everything that we see on social media is storytelling. So I think whenever you can harness that and use it for education, use it for empowerment, but also use it to really rally a group and create a community, is when you can make a big difference.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing with the Black Queer Film Festival today?
So I'm here representing Black Alphabet, which is an arts and wellness organization in Chicago. And we've partnered with some amazing organizations, one including the Center for Black Equity, also the DC Center, and Real Affirmations Film Festival. And essentially, we are kind of doing our best to create community, but also really use storytelling to get conversations started in a room. And with Black Alphabet, we actually started as a film festival. And throughout the years, we were like, okay, the film festival is great because we don't see the representation of ourselves. But there are other aspects that are in some of these films that we should also tackle. And one of those aspects was mental health. So now we also run free mental health resources for the community, and that includes art therapy and also one-on-one therapy.
What is your approach, I guess, to curating the media that will be shown at an event like this one? Because, of course, we just saw Rafiki, incredible film set in Kenya. What is your approach?
I think the biggest thing is thinking about what people want to see.
Right.
And also going back to this idea of what stories need to be told. What stories do we not always see? And Rafiki, I think, is a great example.
Yeah.
Because I think we always hear about how countries in Africa are treating Black LGBT folks. And I think it's really good to see a story about women who are kind of persevering through that. It's actually one of the reasons why we did our film festival in Uganda a couple of years ago, because of everything that's been happening in Uganda. And it was really important for us as a Black LGBT organization in America to reach out to our brothers and sisters in Uganda and say that we see you and we're here for you and we're here to support you. So we kind of went on a limb and put ourselves a little bit in danger's way. But we did that on purpose because we want the world to know that when times get tough, we don't back down.
So, what did we learn from DC Black Pride?
Oof, that's a good question. I think one big takeaway from me is that community isn't always convenient. Community requires work. It can be messy, it can be chaotic. Expensive, but it's also incredibly necessary. And sometimes it's the only real thing that gives us a real sense of safety and freedom to express ourselves in our identities. When is the time when you feel the most free?
Honestly, I feel free all the time. Being free and wild and just allowing yourself to be a little primal, because a lot of pride is like, it's just like the glance from someone from across the room. You know, the little whine when you're trying to, it's just like, you just gotta kind of let loose and let go and just see what's out there. That's all you can do.
I feel the most free when I'm on a stage.
We're gonna cut into a clip of you performing. You ate.
I feel the most free with my partner. Honestly, anytime that we're outside, I feel free. I feel especially free at Pride.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that from the communities to the parties to the protests to the cookouts to the clinics to the sexual health booths to even the sex parties, I think that one thing I love about DC Black Pride is that there is something for everyone. I want everybody to experience this at some point.
Yeah.
Because it is healing to see that you are not alone. You're not a monolith. You are a monolith, but you're not a monolith in the sense that your journey, your voice is not something that is singular. To be in the space where people look like you, people almost have the same desires as you, it's really affirming that you're not that different. And for us, it was especially affirming because it made us realize we are loved by the community. The amount of you that came up to us like, oh my God, I know you guys. But it was not even from like a fame, I know you guys. It's like, I know you guys because of the impact you have in our lives. I know you guys because of the stories you share are something I can relate to. I know you guys because the places you travel to, is where I'm from, and I would have never expected to see two black gay men that are a couple in those spaces.
Just want to say, I think I already said that before, that both of you inspire me. As Africa, a lot of things are considered a taboo, and being gay is one of that. So when I see other African LGBTQ folks living their life, living their truths, it's always like, inspire me to want to be my true and authentic self. So thank you guys for the work and for what you guys do and what you stand for.
Those words I have held on to, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I've held on to it with so much power because it's so affirming, like, what we are doing is right. It's definitely made me excited for the next phase of Pride around the world, where we experience World Pride, Lisbon Pride, Madrid Pride. And I think one thing is that you guys subscribe, because the more subscribers we get, the more our content reaches the right audience, the more we're able to keep sharing our stories with you guys.
Yes, and if you want to follow us in real time, follow the journey in real time, please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and if you want the unfiltered Pride around the world, check out our Snapchat. We're actually staying put here in Washington, D.C. for World Pride, so we can't wait to share that journey with you. Until next time, see you in a bit.
Peace.
Now, in a time where LGBT...
Can you please shut up? Really?
Don't delete that.